everybody, welcome to the Comic Game Movie Show. My name is Deshaun, and today I'm here to review Hawkeye Episode 4. We are past the halfway point. There are 2 more episodes left of Hawkeye. There's a lot of teasing, there's a lot of setup, there's a lot of things going on, action sequences. In this episode in particular, a major reveal in the end. Now, this reveal is something that we all kind of saw coming. We all kind of expected. And it's not a shocker that it happened. Like, this isn't like a shocking reveal by any means necessary. But it still was a fun, and it still was a cool ass and a fun ass reveal nonetheless. Now, this episode is a little bit more on the like last week's episode was like literally half of the episode. Like, I'd say about let me see, maybe 65% of the episode was a massive action sequence. And new information and then the rest was character stuff. This episode is the opposite. It's like 70% character stuff with some action in the end, because it happens. Clearly it happens right after Jack caught Hawkeye with the sword, with putting the sword to the throat and threatening them, and it kind of goes into this conversation. They released a clip earlier today with them sitting with Clint and Kate sitting side by side as they get interrogated by Kate's mom, and Kate's mom's asking them all this. Why are you doing this? Why is an Avenger in my house? And there's some fun back and forth there, obviously, with Kate going over the top and Clint just having the "I don't want to be here" look on his face, and there's some funny back and forth there. And also, there's still so much setup to go. This sequence in the apartment really did set up a couple things. One, it set up that clearly Kate's mom cares about her daughter, but that there's more. It's pretty obvious that there's more with Kate's mom going on, that I've even speculated, and many people have, that she may even turn out to be the supervillain Madame Mask, that she might turn out to be the mastermind behind all these events happening. It feels like they played their card so close to their chest with that character that there's just no way she could just be simply a mom. And not only that, but she really gave Clint the hard pitch when she was basically telling him to not let his daughter get involved in any of this stuff he's doing, because she thinks she's a superhero, but she's not, and she's gonna die. And she seemed pretty genuine when she was saying that, but she was also kind of manipulative, bringing up Natasha as an example of, well, if she can die, then think about what can happen to my daughter. And there was a bit of manipulation there, and there's a bit of nastiness that kind of tells me that there's more to her mom than meets the eye. That's all I'm gonna say. And also with Jack, there seems to be, I saw a fan theory, and I'm starting to believe it a little tad bit. Now, I want Jack. Now, how am I thinking about this? It seems to be that either A, Jack is, secretly a bad guy, but there's a sequence where Jack is genuine, and he's funny, and he's actually nice, and he's got this whole dorky dad thing kind of going that makes you like him, and even Kate starts to like him. That it comes out later in the episode that, oh, he's running a shell company that's helping out the tracksuit mafia, so there's no way he could. But I'm starting to go with other people who are predicting that Jack may not actually be a bad guy. That Jack may actually be just a doofus, a skilled doofus, but either that, or he's in on it with he's in on it with Kate Bishop's mom. They're working together, and it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell with them. I'm sure by next week a lot more will be clear. A lot more will be clear. A lot more will be laid out on the table. All the pieces will be finally aligned. We'll probably get our first glimpse of the Kingpin, because at this point we're just waiting for him. They've referenced Big Man. There's the Fat Man Auto. There's the Fat Man Auto place. They have just referenced like crazy. He's gonna show up, and it might be as soon as next week. We shall see. I'm excited for that when it happens. But leading from there, Hawkeye is just texting his wife, which, by the way, I don't know if I want to talk about it in this video, But I'm starting to get the feeling, and this might be something crazy, you know, maybe I'm just going out on a limb here. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fans aren't going to like what I'm about to say. I'm starting to get the feeling there is more to Laura Barton than meets the eye. There's more to Clint Barton's Hawkeye's wife than meets the eye. And this whole thing about the watch, about what's going on with this watch, about finding this watch, has started to make me think. And in the little tidbits you get from her, the fact that she knows all about Hawkeye's histories, the fact that he's so open with her, the fact that she knows his tactics, she knows his next moves, the fact that she could speak multiple, she's bilingual, the fact that she was able to, that Hawkeye sent her information and said, hey, AC, can you get this information for me? And she was able to get that information in the same day and get someone to flip, So clearly she has skills. It's all starting to make me think. And something about the watch, and Clint said when him and Kate were going to get the watch, that this watch is it ties whoever used to own it to, it ties them back to their real identity, and their identity and their cover will be blown, and bye friend. Like, who does, like, Clint doesn't have, what friends, like, we obviously he's not talking about himself because he's Ronin. Like, it would tie him to being Ronin, he would just say, oh, it ties me to being Ronin and I want this gone. And it's no Avengers we know, because obvious. It's not Yelena Belova or anything like that, clearly. So it starts to kind of narrow it down. You start to kind of go, what if Clint Barton's wife is Bobby Morris, a.k.a. Mockingbird? In the comics, they are pretty much like, Hawkeye has a lot of lovers. He's been with Black Widow. He's had a lot of lovers. He was even with Scarlet Witch for a little bit. Hawkeye has had lovers. Trust me, if you're in Marvel comics long enough, if you're in any comics long enough, you're gonna have a lot of lovers. I mean, Batman. If you combine Batman and fucking Tony Stark's lovers, you could just have a mountain. So, but Hawkeye has many lovers. But the biggest one, I would say, maybe not the biggest one, people would maybe debate that it's Black Widow, but the most consistent one, the one he marries, has a relationship with, is Mockingbird. And it was always interesting in the MCU that they didn't make her Bobby, that they didn't make his wife Bobby. So it was always like, okay, well, maybe they're just not going to do that. But, you know, of course, at the time, we still didn't know if Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was canon. So we maybe went, well, maybe they just, you know, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s canon. This version of Bobby isn't with him. But now I'm starting to think, now if you just say Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. isn't canon, which it's not, but, you know, whatever. If you just go off that assumption, now I'm starting to think, oh, this is the MCU's Bobby. And Laura Barton isn't her real name. She used to be a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent. She was a badass. That's how she met Clint. That's how her and Nat were so cool with each other. That's how she has these skills. Like, no one just has these skills that she has. And it's just so casual about it. And the way she's talking about him, even in the, like, second episode. No. Not the second episode. It might have been this third episode. Maybe it's the third episode, but she was talking to him, and, like, she was just like, you know, ice yourself, take care of yourself, your feet. Like, she was talking to him, and it sounded like she was coming from a place of experience. I think she is Mockingbird. I think the watch is tied to her true identity, and I think it'll be revealed probably at the end of the season. There'll be, like, a nice little, oh, yeah. Hey, what did you used to call you? Oh, Mockingbird. Boom! I think it's going to be something like that. I do think it's going to be something like that. But other than that stuff, me theorizing, it was a fun episode to get into the characters. First of all, some of the best acting in the MCU. This entire scene with Kate and Clint sitting down talking, and him, you know, him saying that the best shot that he took, his best shot was the shot he didn't take, was the shot of killing Natasha. Now, there are still people angry about this. I didn't know this, but there's still people angry that Clint's not dead and Natasha's not alive. There's still people angry about this who are like, just every time they watch this show, they're just like, he should be fucking dead, Natasha should be alive. And they don't get that he had a family and stuff to come home to. No, yeah, you can make the debate that Natasha had a family too, but he had a wife and kids. You know, he had a wife and kids to come home to. And they don't get how that story worked. He saved her, so she saved him. Duh. That's how. That's what happened. And clearly throughout the entire episode, Black Widow's death is just, it has been weighing on him. It has been weighing on him since episode 1. He really feels bad about it. He really thinks, like, deep down in his heart, he thinks he should have been the one who died. You know, deep down in his heart, he thinks he deserved to die for the things that he did and the person he became. Now, granted, I don't got to, like, some people have made a big deal about, like, oh my God, Clint killed Echo's dad, and he has to repent for what he's done. Oh, boo-hoo! Clint killed a bunch of criminals. He killed a bunch of murderers and criminals, okay? He killed Yakuza and cartels. Oh, I'm sorry. If Echo's dad was fucking selling if Echo's dad was just working at a pharmacy or some shit, or a bus driver, or a goddamn principal, he wouldn't have got a sword in his gut. But I digress. I just kind of saw that out there, and I was like, what? Like, man, Clint, man, I don't know if I can root for him, man. All that killing he did, he can't be a good guy. He can't be a hero if he... What? Why? Because he killed a thug? Because he killed a criminal that you met? Every criminal probably has got a story like Maya, I think it's Maya Lopez. Or is that the actress? I'm gonna just say Echo, just to stay on the same side. Like, Echo's dad. But guess what? Like, in my opinion, I kind of think of it like The Punisher. Certain comics, The Punisher kind of thinks about it, which is basically, I don't feel guilty about killing that dude, that criminal, that murderer, because because he made choices that led him in front of this gun. And he made choices that led him to this point. I didn't make him do this. I didn't make him go this. I didn't make him do that. I didn't make him do that. But it led him in front of me. That's his fault. But anyways, they start to kind of get into it, and you can see how it weighs on them. There's some nice flashback sequences that are really cool. There's also some really fun stuff with them, really bonding. And you really, like I say, the longer the show goes on, the more it becomes like, dude, this is the Kate and Clint from the comics. Like, really, it is. Like, their bond and their relationship, it's a mix between fatherly and Big Brother. It's a mix between Big Brother and fatherly. Like, there's just this kind of interesting thing there that I think is an interesting relationship quality. It's not quite father, but it's kind of Big Brother at the same time. And there's a cool sequence where he says he could knock a man out with a quarter, like, from 20 feet away, and you're just like, and she's just like, oh, it's horse crap. Prove it. And he just flicks his fingers, and the coin cuts off the radio and cuts off the TV. Bam, bam, down. It's like, and it was like, he wasn't even looking. He was just like, which I'm like, yo, that's a cool thing, because in the comics, Hawkeye does shit like that all the time in the comics. Like a rock and just hit something, or he does stuff like that all the time in the comics. So it's really cool to see that happen here, him being accurate with no matter what he's using. But we all know what it's leading to, and I'm going to talk about this real quickly. Is the fight sequence in the end, the 4-way fight sequence. Yelena Belova shows up, from Black Widow. We knew she was going to be in this. In fact, I think everyone just forgot that months ago when they were doing, what were they doing? Was it a Disney thing? I don't know what it was doing. Was it Comic-Con? No. I can't remember what they were doing. But a while ago, they released, when Kevin Feige was talking about it, and he was talking about Hawkeye, Florence Pugh was on the poster, Florence Pugh will be in there. She was one of the promoted people, and people just forgot about that shit, because they're like, oh man, I heard the scoopers. I'm like, what scoopers? They announced Florence Pugh would be in this already. But whatever. It was great to see her again. She was fantastic in Black Widow. I can't wait to see more of her in this. I'm curious about how this story is going to go, because it seems like she was trying her best not to trying her best not to hurt Kate and just to get to Hawkeye. And when she realized she can't get to Hawkeye without going through Kate, she took off because she didn't want to kill her, because she's not heartless. but she still thinks Clint killed Natasha. So I'm curious of how that's all going to shake out. It's exciting. That ending really set up a lot. It really did. It set up a lot. There's a lot of beef on Clint right now, man. A lot of beef. Got Yelena aiming for him. When Echo finds out who he really is, she's gonna be aiming for him. He just had an emotional moment where he saw Kate get thrown off the roof, and it reminded him of Natasha, and he had to push her away. Next week's episode is gonna be over the top. I'm real excited for next week's episode. It's gonna be dope. It's gonna be dope. I give this week, it's like a 9.5, man. Like, I'm enjoying the fuck out of this show. I really am. It's a different vibe than all the rest of the shows. It's hitting me different, you know? It's just hitting me different. Like, I can't really describe it. It's like part, like, it's like the Netflix shows meets Die Hard, kind of. It's like a lighter version of the Netflix shows meet Die Hard, and it has a much bigger budget than the Netflix shows. So I don't know how to describe it. I'm just muttering on. Anyways, thank you guys for joining the Kind of Great Movie Show. Please like, subscribe, and tell me what your thoughts are about the Hawkeye episode 4. Were you surprised? What do you think is going on with the watch? Comment below. What do you think is going on with that watch? Thank you guys again. I'll see you on the next one.